the Kraken.
Good morning, Hockey Nation fans and Detroit Red Wings followers. I don't even know what day it is. Is it January the 11th already? This is insane. But what was more insane was the game last night. A team that can't score goals couldn't stop scoring goals last night. This was crazy. Facing, maybe the top 2 or 3 goalies in the NHL right now. Connor Hellebuyck having a hell of a season. And whoops, what happened? Really terrible game last night for him. But good for the Red Wings. Tyler Bertuzzi draws back into the lineup after his surgery. So playing on the top line. We saw a little interesting thing, which was Walman, who's been playing so well on defense, playing alongside Mortiz Seider, and what a difference this made. Good morning to everybody that's joined. Lucky Luciano. It was a barn burner, and we'll go through the details of that. And yes, the Sabres are suddenly a little bit in struggle land. I don't know what's going on there. Winnipeg need to rest Hellebuyck or it costs them the playoffs. What's funny is when I first tuned into the game, I hadn't looked at who the starters are going to be, and I thought for sure they were going to throw David Rittich at the Red Wings. And when I saw the Red Wings were up early 3-0, I was like, oh man, Rittich's terrible. No, this is Connor Hellebuyck. What is going on? So let's just get into it. It was 3-0 Red Wings at some point, as you'll see. They went into this game 16-15-7. We were like, oh, they're going to be 500 after this game because the Jets have been having an absolutely terrific season. What happened here? You can see in most categories, like shots on goal, 37 shots to 23. This should not be 7 goals against. What's going on? 52% for the Jets. They dominate in the faceoff circle. Red Wings finally score a power play goal, so that was good news. 1 for 3 for both teams. Not a lot of penalties. 3 penalties aside. 23 hits for the Red Wings, so that's interesting. A lot of block shots for the Red Wings. In spite of that, there's still 37 shots on goal. I don't know what that tells you. That means what's the math on this? It's 60 shots attempts by the Jets. By all accounts, this should have been a destruction. Now, they did score 5 goals, and that's why. How the heck did the Red Wings score 7? Well, in this game, it didn't matter. It was 3-1 Red Wings after the first. After the second was 5-3, and you thought, oh, man, this is crazy. This got to lock down, right? No way, Jose. And the Red Wings never lost the lead in this game. Good morning to Rick Bengal. Good morning, my friend Enertap. Thank you for joining. Lost money on the Sabres. Uh-oh. And did you say that you won money on Detroit? So I guess you're a big bettor there. I mean, the good money would have been on the Sabres and the bad money on the Red Wings, right? So I guess this is how things happen. I think that this was just one of those nights. Did you see the night before where this always happens? I don't know. We should do statistics. Somebody's got to do statistics on shutouts because it seems to be contagious. Because I think the night before there was 3 or 4 shutouts. And one of them was Philadelphia. And Philadelphia didn't even have Carter Hart in. They have Erson. It was crazy. All right, so this game was a wild one. Jake Walman, go and watch this goal. This is not a ham and egg goal. And this is the second game in a row Jake Walman has scored. you can see the assist goes to Seider. And I think the puck was, cop down low, banks it out to Seider, goes D to D to Walman. Walman goes outside and then cuts inside, leaving the guy at the point on the outside, and then rifles it top shelf past Mr. Connor Hellebuyck. This was a hell of a goal early in the game. And then Jonathan Berggren's also scoring second game in a row, gets his 7th, and makes it 2-0. Also, you notice this name here, Moritz Seider. And also, I got to give credit to Andrew Kopp. So Kopp getting, assists on the first 2 goals against his former team. So that was a big deal. And then Sundqvist scores. And, Sundqvist looked real good in this game. Who else gets an assist on this goal? Moritz Seider. So now he's got 3 assists on 3 goals. Lucas Raymond chipping in. Lucas Raymond was just getting warmed up, though, with this assist. Now, Neil Pionk kind of drew it quickly after that and got them within 3-1. But the Red Wings would just pull away. And the second, good news that Dominik Kubalik scores his 13th. Hopefully he is getting a little bit back on track. Winnipeg was taken off their game. For sure. But if you watch this, it's not that Detroit played bad, but definitely Hellebuyck was off a little. I don't know. It wasn't like these were junk goals either. If you go back and watch them, they were pretty decent goals. It was just bang, 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 and they were tough goals. Kubalik making it 4-1 in the second, so the pain continues for Winnipeg in the second. Sam Gagner, the ex-Red Wing, the ex-many teams, continues to have a productive year. I mean, is he 35 now? He's got to be. He's an 89 birth year, I think. Because he played with John Tavares, who was a 90. John Tavares always played up with the Toronto Marlies. And then, so he's an 89. So I don't know. He's not even that old. I guess that's 33, 34. But 8 goals for him on the year is really good because he's always kind of a third-line guy, speedy, checking, and he's always in good shape. All right, so good news for him in Winnipeg, 4-2. He's willing to go anywhere for $1 million and play. Played real well for the Red Wings, I thought. Then Nick Schmidt makes it a little closer. It's 4-3, and okay, the Red Wings are going to blow this, right? No, the captain, Dylan Larkin, gets his 14th and on the power play. And you notice who's assisted on this. Moritz Seider, Lucas Raymond. These are good news stories. Yeah, well, I don't know what you guys were. And tonight there are games on. So going into the third, it's 5-4 Red Wings. It's because it was 5-3, and then Nikolai Ehlers gets his second of the year, drawing back into the Winnipeg lineup after injury. So he missed a whole lot of time this year, but he's a real good player. You can see. And Kyle Connor, who's been Mr. Everything, gets an assist. But he was a little frustrated on the night. You could see he was frustrated going into the dressing room a couple times. Robbie Fabbri drawing in the lineup, getting another goal. So this is really good after being out most of the year with injury. So his second of the year. I thought Joe Veleno looked real good in this. Gustav Lindstrom getting assist, and he drew back on the lineup. He's been kind of out of the lineup a lot. Mark Scheifele tried to draw it even again, scoring on the power play. So this was the power play goal for the Jets. Getting his 24th. That's pretty this is a guy when we were talking in the offseason, coach was like, you should trade Scheifele. And I'm like, why would you trade this guy? 24 goals. He's on pace for 48 goals, guys. This is a great season. And I keep hearing you gotta get rid of that Blake Wheeler contract. But if you look at Blake Wheeler, I think Blake Wheeler, even though he's not the captain, he got his 18th assist. So does he have 26 or 28 points on the season in 30 some odd games? And I think he's missed a few games. So he's been doing pretty well. All right. Anyway, so Scheifele having a monster year, Dubois getting his 29th assist. And they talked a lot about Dubois, about his checking ability and how defensively he's really good. But that's not enough on this night. 6-5 on the power play. And then Lucas Raymond puts it out of reach. This was an empty net goal. That's fine. You pull the goalie, we can score on you. Mini versus Rangers. Yeah. And Marc-Andre Fleury at 38 is kind of crazy. It's always now a question of is this his last year? He looks pretty good. I mean, he has some off games, but he looks pretty good. Carey Price, yeah, I mean, he had a pretty serious injury. He made a crazy run. My tongue, my lip, my arm, my left knuckle. Listen, we can get into that, the Slavkovsky thing. I've said it all along. This guy is Pavel Zacha. That's always what I felt. And people got all hyped up about the Olympics on him, and that's part of it. And he's a big body and he can shoot and all that stuff. And maybe he'll score more. Maybe he'll be like a 30 goal scorer or 25 goal scorer. Maybe that's what you get. But I just don't think he's a creative guy. He's kind of a north-south guy that tries to protect the puck. Big and strong, all good things. He can really shoot the puck. Those aren't bad things. Is that the first overall pick? You passed on Logan Cooley. You passed on Nemec. You passed on Jiricek. You passed on Cutter Gauthier. I think all those guys are going to have better careers. Shane Wright might. Shane Wright's not a franchise player, though. You guys are seeing that now. Intertap, you need to teach me how to do that fancy orange thing. I don't know what that means. Is orange like because he makes comments and you see orange? Fleury's time to retire? I don't think so. He's looking pretty good. Minnesota's doing quite well. The way the Jets were going last year, the team was spiraling to oblivion. So now you see, well, he had Lowry, right? And Paul Maurice, you got to remember, quit. This guy quit. How does he get another job with a great lineup? And now that team is not in it. Players aren't stupid. They know they'll talk like, oh, this guy quit on his last team. He quit. You'd better be fired. Like, you can see the chaos, and this has always been my issue. There's something emotionally disconnected with certain coaches and their teams. And I've always felt this when he communicates and whenever I went to coaches' conferences. And it's not that he's a bad person or a bad man, doesn't understand hockey. He does. He's got a long NHL career. But he got opportunities that most people wouldn't because Carolina was very patient with them. And they had Winnipeg, another real patient GM, and he fits to the personality of the GM. But that's not the best thing for that team. You can see Rick Bowness a little fire under the wagon, and he's been around the block a little and not the greatest coach in the NHL. I wouldn't say that, but he's been in the Stanley Cup final. The players like him. He can be tough on them. And look what happens. This is overall a great year for Winnipeg. Suddenly a team you're like, they're terrible defensively. And you got Josh Morrissey, top 5 or 3 in NHL defenseman scoring. Maybe he's 2. Top 2? I mean, come on. We're seeing a great, great season from that team. Defensively, it's really helped Hellebuyck, except for last night. Last night was a bad example, right? But, this is good. Win for Detroit that we were not counting on. So you look at the points here. Great game. Fabbri getting a goal. That's good news. Kopp 2 assists against his old team. That's good news. He was 50% in the faceoff circle. He's been terrible in the faceoff circle. A major improvement for him. Pia Suter, a little, not a lot of ice time and 44% in the faceoff. That's fine. Jonathan Berggren scoring 2 games in a row, 7 goals on the year. They're going to take a closer look at that. But the big difference is, look, they remove Sherratt. He is still a -3. They remove him from Moritz Seider's line. What happens? Moritz Seider gets 4 frigging assists, and Walman, who has been playing better and better and better, is his partner. What a difference. Philip Hronek is a -1, gets no points. This has been the points leader in Detroit this year for defensemen. And at one point, I think he was up on the top 1 or 2 on the team in scoring. He plays with Sherratt, and it's a disaster. Olli Mata playing with Lindstrom. I think you got to switch those guys. That it's just crazy. So look at Kubalik getting on, but he's a -1. So you think of his line. I'm trying to think. He was with Pia Suter last night. I think he was on Pia Suter's line. And they would draw with the Sherratt-Hronek matchup, -1. So Ben Sherratt, to Enor's tap point, I thought he kind of turned around. No, he's not really playing great. 23 minutes here. So he's a bit of a liability. He needs to play number 5 in this team even. And that's not bad. From Thailand. Wow, China. Chanya. I don't know how you pronounce that, but you're from Thailand. Wow, that's great. Coaches from Thailand. 4 points from Moritz Seider is very, very good news and shows you what he's capable of. Jonathan Berggren getting in a goal. Lucas Raymond, 3 points on the night. Kubalik scoring is good news. Larkin, I think, had 2 points. So this is all good news. Geez, I could have sworn that Berggren got a goal and assist last night. Maybe not. Oh, Sundqvist got a goal and assist. I apologize. So Sundqvist and he played real well. So a lot of good news stories, but 865 would normally be the death knell. So 37 shots, 32 saves. But look at Connor Hellebuyck, 23 shots, guys, 7 goals against, really 6 goals against, and an empty netter. So this was not the best. Yeah, I was going to say, coaches in Thailand. Lost at the mullet. What? All right, so that's what it is. Let's take a look at this young guy. And I kind of said this in the offseason, like their hope for upside. We know Lucas Raymond. We thought maybe he'd be a little bit off last year. We know Seider be a little off, but maybe he's been boat anchored by Sherratt. I think that's just the reality. You make that assessment, you split them up and look at the performance. And Walman is really emerging as a real good D. So I think they're relying too much on Sherratt. He needs to play, 18 minutes on a second or a third pairing. And even the second pairing did not look good. Playing him with a Lindstrom or someone else on that third pairing might be the thing for him. So Jonathan Berggren is 22. He's a second-round draft pick. He had a great year with Grand Rapids last year. Highly, highly skilled, not a big guy. Like he's listed at 5'11". He ain't 5'11", and he's not one. I would be shocked if he's 197. I mean, maybe because they usually don't, they don't lie about weight, but maybe height. So I think he's kind of like 5'10", 5'10 and a half. 197 wouldn't surprise me, but he looks real small out there. My big question in the offseason, can Jonathan Berggren play wing? Because there's a lot of guys at center, and man, he can play wing. And you can see in board battles, he is really, really highly skilled, and he gets out with the puck, and he'll make crazy passes, sometimes without looking, and it gets on guys' sticks, and he finds soft areas around the net to score. He gets into like little quiet areas that are still in front. He's not afraid, and he's good in the corners. He's just good in the corners in a different way, and he holds guys off. So this is a really good news story. The upside for the Red Wings are guys like this. It's Berggren, it's Raymond, it's Seider. And I think coach kind of was like questioning Berggren, but I mean, he had nothing to prove in the AHL. They sent him down because of salary cap and to try to keep Vezina up. Vezina goes down early, lots of injuries early. This guy is not going anywhere. He's a real good player. Did I see Yzerman at the World Juniors? Yeah, he's always serious. He's always captain serious. Even if you watch he's polite, he's professional, but he is serious. Not good, man. That's just what I'm saying. First of all, we keep talking about how he's in the wrong chair, right? Like coach says, he's in the wrong chair. He should not be a top pairing with Seider. And Seider's been having an off year. Now I think we know why. Coach finally separates him. Derek Lalonde separates him from Seider, moves him down. Who has a bad game? Not a great time is Roenick. And he's a big guy. He's really capable. He's got decent offense. But he might need to play a 5 role. Play him on the third pairing. Reduce his ice time to 18 minutes. It's still a lot. He can still kill penalties and stuff like that to pick up his time. But 5-on-5, Roenick and Mata were working out real well. We see Walman working out real well with Seider. I think you got to keep those pairings together. Walman's having a great year. He's showing he's a real good defenseman. And Sherratt was -3. He played 23 minutes. And you saw the late minutes. It cost the Red Wings. Seider was a +3, exactly. 4 points, 4 assists for Seider. This is what we expect from him. He had 50-some-odd points last year. Eventually, this guy's going to be a 60 to 80-point defenseman. But it's real tough. Real deal, Prime. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. So I think this is good news that you got a 2000 birth year player, 22 years old, just getting started. Could have an 8-10-year career at the Red Wings. This is the type of guy where you look at him and you compare him to a young Zetterberg or a young Datsuk. You've got Raymond and Berggren. People were kind of laughing at me when I said that, but this guy's highly, highly skilled, and he destroyed the AHL last year. And he went down and did a number on it again this year. He has nothing to prove in the AHL. He's ready for the NHL. He had a little bit of a derail early in his career, but now you're seeing what he can do, and this is good news. I don't think he's going to stop. Like right now, he is on pace for a 20-goal, 25-assist campaign in a full year. Pretty good. Lucas Raymond doing real well. Those are good things. Any good Detroit prospects in the queue? The best 2 Detroit prospects are Marco Kasper, who's in Sweden, and William Wallander, who's in Sweden. I think those are the 2 best picks. And then, prospects. You got Casas in the ECHL, so that's their other top prospect. So those are 3 guys. I'm trying to think if there's anyone in the queue. Like, coach been going big time, and GM been going big time to Sweden and Europe. I cannot think of who would be. Let's take a look. So you got Marco Kasper, and he's in Sweden. So he is definitely not in the queue. Let's see if I can share this. Let's take a look. So there's Marco Kasper playing for Rogel. If you've ever seen Rogel, they got a jersey that looks like the Edmonton Oilers. So if we look at their picks, like, is there anybody in the queue? Like, not one pick there. Not one pick there. Oh, there's one there. Oskar Plandowski. Oscar's not bad for Charlottetown. Oscar's actually pretty decent. I don't mind him. I think he's having a good year down there. I was looking at that the other day. And that's kind of it. I mean, heavy duty. Some USHL guys that are probably in NCAA now. Shai Buyam, good prospect. Simon Edmondson is – how did I forget about Edmondson? Like, 12 points, 25 games in Grand Rapids. He's honing his craft down there. So you probably got Edmondson, Wallander, Kosa, and then Marco Kasper. So as many guys have graduated, guys, the future is bright for Detroit. Like, they got all these players that are coming up. Joshua, wow. Man, he had a great World Juniors. Having a great year in the queue. Yeah, go to Sweden. That's the place to see them. Far better choice. I agree. Yeah, the queue is fun to watch. There's always some weird distortion zone around their prospects, though. How's Giovanni Smith doing? I want to see this. Let's see. He's played 5 games with the Panthers. So he's up with the Panthers. That's good. I like Gio. Panthers are a mess, though. Taro Hirose doing real well down there. But, Austin Zarnik, real good when he's come up. So that's movie. The guy that I'm excited about is Cross Hannes. That's another great prospect. And he's still got Jared McIsaac. Oh, he's a -12. That is not good. Not good. How's Kosa doing is a question. 22 games, Toledo Walleye. He's 10-11 and an 895 save percentage. Those are not NHL numbers, guys. He's playing the East Coast League, and those are his numbers. He's going to take a while. Had a good camp, a good prospects camp, but that is the deal. So lots of good things to look forward to. I mean, you got 4 or 5 really good picks. Go watch Oskar Plandowski. I don't mind Oskar. I thought he had a good camp. And then you still got Albert Johansson, really can skate. You got Donovan Sabrango. Sabrango played great for World Juniors in the summer and won a goal with Canada. That was good. Yeah, we can get lots of Thai fans, I guess, if they're into hockey. We can help educate them on the beautiful game of hockey. All right, so I think this is all good news that Jonathan Berggren has popped through, contributing big time. This is something they need, and now they get back Fabbri. Now they get back Bertuzzi. The guy's not doing so well as Vrana. Vrana's in the AHL, and he's struggling. So this is not a smooth transition back from the NHL player assistants. Is he the drunken master? I don't know. That's maybe not a nice thing to say, but it's like he goes into the player assistants. Now he can't score. What's going on? All right. So ECHL, the Growlers. Oh, the Leafs. Yeah. Well, watch out for Kosa. He's in Toledo. The numbers he's got ain't NHL numbers and they ain't AHL numbers. So he's going to take some time. He's got all the raw tools. I really, was questioning in that draft. That's just the one thing I questioned. Why would you not take the Swedish goalie, man? That is the better goalie. Like, if you look at the guy, is it Minnesota that got him in the 2021 draft? Where did he go? Jesper Wallstead. Should have stuck with that plan. Playing for the Iowa Wild, he's 8-7-3, 906 save percentage. So he's not perfect. Did he get called up to Minnesota? So he's come over from Sweden, rocked the Swedish Elite League as a young guy, and now he's in the AHL. So he's definitely ahead of Kosa. Not a world beater or anything, but the guy you got to hope gets his act together is Vrana. -6, 1 assist in 6 games in the AHL. They were counting on this guy for a lot of goals, and he's very capable. He's shown he can score in the NHL. So this is going to be a long road back for Vrana. All right, so next game for the Red Wings is Thursday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They just played them. I have followers more than 4,000. Let's go. That's great. The Bangkok Bengals? Oh, boy. I don't think that's going to happen. The travel would be hell. Go to I would say the KHL, but that's not going to work. He might have left the program before he could benefit from him, hence being waived. So is that what it is? But he was there for 2 months. So, maybe at some point it's like, is he still struggling? Who knows? This is kind of rough. So he is just not, he needs some time here. So that's interesting that they waived him, and that's why nobody would have picked him up if he left too early. But I guess 2 months, that's a long time to be in for some, in your head. I guess his problems are real serious, obviously. I feel terrible for him. Hopefully he gets it straight. His personal health is obviously more important than what the Red Wings need, and the Red Wings got lots of guys stepping up and coming back. So this is all good news. So just looking ahead, this is unconfirmed. Will Husso drop back in? I mean, Hellebuyck's going to get shell-shocked. Hellebuyck seems to be the official backup. Hellebuyck has lost that spot. Not played great this year. Hellebuyck's okay. Definitely a backup. Husso kind of struggling in the first spot lately. Needs someone good to push him. And that's obviously not Kosa. Not Bradstrom. It's not these other guys. Matt Murray had a terrible game last game, didn't he? Didn't he let in 6 goals or something? I think he had a terrible game. Let's take a look. 6-3-1, 2-game winning streak. This is just the story of the Leafs. They win because they've got those big 4 guys, and now Morgan Riley's back in the lineup. So that's 5 real good players, and this is still an imperfect lineup. The goaltending has been iffy lately with Samsonov struggling. 10-4-2, 2.57, 9.16 save percentage. Overall, pretty good for Matt Murray. But if you watch him game in, game out, I think that teams know they can pick him apart. But we'll see. You hope that he has a good time in the playoffs, or that he keeps his career on track. This is definitely an improvement over the last few years for him, obviously with a much better team. 901 save percentage now. Husso was around 916. He's now over 3 goals a game against. That's not good. This is not going to work. And the 3 shutouts were early in the year. He was playing great, but he's never shouldered this type of load. And he's only played 26 games, but that's kind of pace for 52. So I always thought this is a 42 to 45 game guy. And I think that's proving out. He needs someone behind him to push him. And the Red Wings need someone behind him that's good enough to take that other load. So if he has to, he can go back and forth. Mitch Marner, 8 points the last 5 games, having a great year, of course. 4 goals for Michael Bunting. Had a little bit of a slow start, playing real well. This has been, I think, the signing of the year. There's 2 that I would like to point out for the Leafs. One is Calle Jarnkrok having a great run here. Go look at his numbers. And this guy career has been like a 12-goal, 15-assist guy who's a real good two-way player, gets points from the 3rd and 4th line, and he's doing that for cheap. Was in the AHL earlier, and he's doing it for cheap, which is what the Leafs need. This guy's a real good veteran NHL player. On the Red Wings side, this is good news that's picked up a little bit. 6 points in 5 games for Lucas Raymond, 3 goals, 3 assists. Moritz Seider, 5 assists. All 4 of them were last night. But keeping him away from Sherratt seems to be part of the answer. So this is good for them. And 4+4, and we already know Jonathan Berggren scored in back-to-back games. Walman has scored in back-to-back games. I still got to know, is it Jesse or Jake? I always get this confused if it's Jake or Jesse Walman. I think it's Jake. So we look, I should update this, but they beat Winnipeg, which was unexpected. We were looking for a split in the next 6 games or 8 games. So they get a win versus Winnipeg. Can they pull out a win versus Toronto? I think if they play this barn burner style, they're going to be in trouble. Especially if Sherratt's matched up against some of these top guys. That's what you would want, but I just don't think that's working out for him or the Red Wings. Columbus is a winnable game. Colorado lost last night, I think, right? That was kind of, if you look at the scores, it was kind of rough. But so Arizona's a winnable game. Philadelphia have been playing real well. They got a shutout the other night from Harrison. It wasn't even our friend Mr. Carter Hart. Let's just take a look here. The other scores last night real quick before we're 15 minutes before the hour. Please hit like and subscribe. Invite your mom, her mom, everybody's mom. So Tampa beats Columbus, as you would expect, 6-3 last night. This was a real good game. I think it went to shootout. Yeah, it did go to shootout. 4-3 Rangers over Minnesota. New Jersey getting back in the W column against a real tough Carolina team, winning 5-3. Buffalo, another loss. Is this 3 in a row for them? Suddenly what we thought they were just on a tear, they kind of have this little inconsistency, and they lose to Seattle's playing really good hockey. I mean, there's no way around it. Seattle, for a second-year team especially, is doing real well. Pittsburgh gets in the W column against Vancouver. Vancouver's just not going anywhere. They got to start unloading guys. We talked about 7-5 for Winnipeg. Dallas 2-1 in a shootout. That was a tight game. And then St. Louis pulling out a win in overtime versus Calgary. Wow, San Jose gets a win against Arizona. And Florida, don't look now. That was what I was saying. Like, this was kind of an ugly game. It was not pretty. Georgiev, is that a number one goalie? I keep saying that. I don't think so, man. Bobrovsky, 871, 892 for Georgiev. So neither one doing amazing. I think there is chaos constantly on the Florida D, but they managed to pull it out that night. Matthew Tkachuk getting the power play unassisted goal, making it 5-4 for the win. McKinnon getting on the score sheet. Rantanen. So the Tkachuk, he had 2 goals. Brandon Montour scored a real nice goal early on to make it 2-0. It was 3-0 Florida with the power play goal from Sam Bennett. Yeah, I don't know, man. Colorado, they need Landeskog back. They need – is Nichushkin back yet? Doesn't look like it. Still no Nichushkin, and they need to figure out after that the second-line center role, and that'll really help. Not having Bo Byram is a big deal. Really is. I mean, he's better than Girard. Cale Makar playing 30 minutes a night is nice, but that's crazy. And then you got Devin Taves at 25 minutes. Like, something crazy going there. Go Leafs, go. Well, we're going to see, because the Red Wings are going to face the Leafs. So that's kind of the matchup. We kind of previewed what's going on. Toronto versus Detroit tomorrow night. We looked at the scores. Are there any other exciting developing stories in the NHL? There's one that I wanted to. Bender's goal streak's at 5, so that's good news for them. Dawson Mercer's pulled back to having a real good season. He's on pace for 20 goals again. Kucherov had a big night. Wow, the Penguins attended the wake of Letang's father. That's crazy. Yeah, so let's just take a look at the standings. So Detroit's still in 6th here, 41 points. They have no games in hand on Buffalo at 42 points, so this is real tight. But Buffalo is, 2 losses in a row. They're still 7-3-0 in their last 10, though. And that's what counts. I don't think Florida's going anywhere fast, so they're gettable. But, this is not an impressive win by the Red Wings. It's just a win. Dallas 2 winning. Well, it's just trucking on. Don't look now, but another win streak by Nashville. 4 wins in a row. 6 losses in a row for Arizona. They are in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, which is probably where they should be. Anaheim, similar boat. San Jose, similar boat. Chicago, bottom of the league, suddenly wins 2 in a row. Don't get crazy, guys. And the pain continues in Montreal, and no escape velocity for Ottawa. So I really thought that Buffalo would jump out, and I think that they will still finish ahead of these guys. But in the wild card race, in the end, big win for New Jersey last night. They've won 2 in a row. You see Pittsburgh ain't going quietly. Suddenly they've won 2 in a row. The Islanders, I think, just stay out of this picture. I just don't see this working out for them. Buffalo, I thought, would be the team to pop up. So Detroit's not out of it. And maybe they get some luck and these guys stay healthy. And we continue to see. The most important thing, though, is the progression of these young players. Because next year you want to see at least 2 more of those guys integrated. It wouldn't be great to see next year Simon Edmondson in a top 4 role. And that's what they're grooming him for. And then, you bring in a Marco Kasper. So all of that could work out real well. In the end, they just got to keep developing these young guys and integrating more guys next year would be great. Can you say Saros? Yeah, Saros, big time for Nashville. Big win streak for them. I bet at least who? Hey, at least. Yeah, well, let's see if Detroit can pull out another win here. Danny, thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone who has joined this morning and who is watching this, the Detroit Red Wings fans. So just to recap, win for, Mark Pysyk, who's not played a single game, but he could be real useful. This could be like a Jake Walman, but an older guy. He's a pretty useful 6'7" defenseman, and he can play forward too. So he would be a useful piece, but the good news is that the guys that have to be playing well are. So you had a good game from Larkin. You had a great game from Seider last night with 4 assists. Jonathan Berggren and Lucas Raymond really playing well. That's good news for the Red Wings. Veleno's looking good. Rasmussen didn't get any points last night, but he's been having a good year in my opinion. So those are all important things. What happens next is next year you get Simon Edmondson in the lineup. You get Marco Kasper in the lineup. Kosa ain't anywhere near ready for the NHL. You hope that Sebastian Kosa plays in the AHL, not the ECHL next year, and has good numbers. And he might take a little while. Maybe he gets a cup of coffee, a couple games. Red Wings really need a second goalie. Ville Husso is good, but not as a 55-game guy, I think. Unless, he takes another step in his development. He needs someone behind him pushing him. That is not Hellebuyck. It's obviously not Nedeljkovic. So it'll be interesting to see if Stevie Yzerman does anything to get a goalie this year or in the offseason. I know we're looking way ahead, but a music group. Oh, really? Huh. Is this our friend here from Thailand? Chayan? Is it Chanya? She's in a music group? Let me know. All right, guys, we have reviewed the Red Wings. We reviewed all the games. Let's take a look. And RJ somewhere here posted what the games tonight are. So tonight we've got Washington versus Philadelphia, 7 p.m. Eastern. Nashville, Toronto. Is this correct? Yeah, because then they play Nashville versus Toronto and then Detroit tomorrow night. So that is correct. Edmonton and Anaheim. Edmonton needs to get some points. Let's go. LA Kings had a big win against Edmonton the other night. LA Kings are damn hard to beat, and they don't even have great goaltending. San Jose is in tough against them, but as we've seen, anyone can win on any night. Preds do play tonight. Yes, that is correct. Sorry, I had to do a double take. I'm a day in advance in the time machine here. So good news that Detroit does get a win. It's not pretty. They catch Connor Hellebuyck off guard, and that worked out pretty well for them. Looking ahead to Toronto, that's going to be a tough game and a real winnable game on Saturday night. They got to get points in. And then next week, it would be nice if they got a split between the Colorado. They got 4 games next week. They can beat Arizona and beat Philadelphia. That would be the key. And maybe they catch Colorado off guard. They got to pull what they did against Winnipeg. Because they're kind of hovering just above 500. But I just don't think you see escape velocity. I think let's continue to get ice time to Rasmussen, Veleno, Berggren, Raymond, Seider improve with a better D partner, which is crazy. And then, we'll worry about next year. We'll get the more young guys in. We're seeing good contributions from Fabbri. Let's get Tyler Bertuzzi going and make a decision if you're going to sign him or trade him and get assets. I could see Bertuzzi getting on a little bit of a roll and then trade him to a playoff team and then getting some picks. I could see Yzerman doing that. It makes a lot of sense. He's going to be, a free agent. He would really help a playoff team. All right, boys, we are 7 minutes before the hour. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. I'm going to wrap this up. We will follow up with you on Friday morning. We will recap the game against Toronto and Detroit. We will preview the game versus Columbus and check out Hockey Nation Live tonight. I believe it is 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where Coach will be on tonight. As per usual, you can always count on that. I didn't even check, and I know that. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Appreciate all your likes and subscribes and sharing this with friends. And we will talk to you on Friday morning.